Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, episode 120. This is Grady Hooker, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey!
Just before we get to Raw, we'll talk a little about the live WWE Network, the Beast in the East, Tokyo special. So, ignoring the main event, because, to be honest, the main event was not that special at all. How'd you like the rest of the card?
The rest of the card was good. Neville versus Jericho was a good match.
Yep. And I think you can't overlook the NXT title match either.
No, that was a really good match. With the predictable and correct outcome. Although I was shocked that it was completely clean.
Because now you can say at least, Finn cleanly beats Owens, but Owens has cleanly beat Cena. So by transitivity, it makes Finn look really strong. But I guess you can, chalk that up on the board to being back in Japan. And that Japanese crowd is entirely different to any of the American crowds.
Yeah, they are a completely different beast. They're a lot more respectful of the action.
Yeah.
Than the American crowds are.
I saw a tweet along the lines of saying it was refreshing to watch a wrestling show where they booed the heels and cheered the faces.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize that you miss something like that until you watch the Japanese special and hear the Japanese crowd. And then even taking it away from the crowd and looking at the customs around the NXT title match, the flowers, the streamers and everything. For people who haven't maybe seen Japanese wrestling at all, so maybe the mainstream audience who don't watch New Japan or anything like that, that'd be something completely different to them.
Yeah, it was a nice experience to see, and it gives us hope that there can be other specials similar to that. So that maybe the UK can finally get their own programs.
Yeah. Did you wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to watch it live?
I have to work.
Ah.
So I was awake already. So I didn't have to wake up for it.
Oh, that was easy for you then. I think it was,
But I couldn't watch it live because I was too busy.
I think it was 10 p.m. New Zealand time, roughly around there. But it's always great for different countries to be able to watch stuff live. I imagine in the coming months we'll see a UK. I don't know when they're back over there. Probably a Canada one, even though Canada's time isn't too far off. And I can keep up hopes since they're coming down to Australia 2 months from now. That maybe they'll do one from there. So just before we go to Raw, we're just delaying Raw. Last episode of Tough Enough. How do you see that show for the first 3 episodes we've had now?
By the time this airs, yeah.
Yeah. Is it going well?
I'm not a big fan of all the induced drama. But it's not been a bad show. It's just they've done way too much drama on it and been manufactured. You can tell it's fake.
I guess you can compare that to, I want to say last season's, I'm trying to do this from memory, where it was pretty much all challenges. And then the judges, I think, voted somebody off. Or was it Austin? But it was a completely different type of show to what it is now, where it's that whole Big Brother meets wrestling, essentially. And I guess that floats some people's boats to what they prefer to watch. And then there's some people like Patrick who will complain and want more wrestling on the show. So looking at it now, 2-3 episodes in, who are your favourites to come out on top? Because I think I got Tanner and Sarah Lee, but I'm also liking Patrick. Now, Patrick may be a little bit of a a-hole, but he does like wrestling compared to a lot of people there.
Yeah, he's definitely got the passion for this. That'll probably carry him a while. But yeah, he has been a jerk, and if he gets on the chopping block, there's a chance he'll go home.
And you can also tell easily that the WWE are giving airtime to people they want to keep on the show. Like, I want to say Sarah Lee, I think it was her complaint that they weren't seeing enough character out of her, but that's just because the WWE are not choosing to air her bits on the show. Probably because they don't partake in the manufactured drama. We'll see how it goes. It's fine. I'll keep watching it, if that's a sign of anything. But we'll go into our classic entrance theme, and I promise when we come back we'll actually talk about Raw. It's Tyson Tomko's The Problem Solver. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. So we're going to get to Raw. How'd we start off Raw, Josh?
It was okay.
The startings to Raw are starting to get repetitive again.
Yeah. Seth Rollins has been to Triple H's promo school.
And he's just hitting the same
Basically
things?
the best I can say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 20-minute long promos that have no real point to them.
And
But hey,
you watch it, probably because you're forced to get into the next hour of wrestling. At least it seems like Brock Lesnar is ruining his fun, per se.
yeah, but Brock Lesnar, he's extremely reckless. He hit a fan with one of those car doors.
I thought you were going to bring this up. Yeah, he just threw it straight into the crowd. What was it, like, second, third row back?
You gotta be kidding me. He's constantly doing stuff like this.
Was he the one who threw something in the ring, like TV monitor, and it bounced off and out?
Yeah, and almost hit a fan with that. He threw chairs into the ring, nearly hit one, and it almost bounced out of the ring. And he broke one of the little metal pieces in the chair, and it nearly flew off.
Yeah, I think he tries to go with that I'm a believable monster, so he pretends like he doesn't care, but then he just about injures people, which is not really on.
And this is on the heels of him hurting Jamie Noble, for real.
They might have to look at him seriously. Like, I know he's a big booking power, he's a monster guy, but he may be getting a little reckless in his old age.
He's always been this reckless.
It hasn't been as prominent as far as I've noticed. Like, if I look back through his old tapes, I'm not going to notice about 5 fans in a space of a year that he's just about knocked out with flying objects. But he also, I guess, probably no fault of his own. I think he also injured Mr. McMahon's hip. So I don't know. But it's something you've got to look at. You don't really want to push a guy who's just going to be hurting everybody left, right, and center, especially if you're going to put him up against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Segued that one. So do you believe this leaked poster?
I don't know. But it does present an interesting outcome. It's possible that they may just do the match without the title on the line and just try to figure out who was the better man after all.
Yeah.
But I've heard that, from what I've heard, it could be for the title, with Lesnar winning the title, obviously, at Battleground. And then Triple H versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of chatter around in the internet with the release of the Beast for Business shirt recently, that people are thinking that Brock might side with Triple H and the Authority while Seth Rollins gets booted. Leading to both of those matches, of course. But it would seem weird for Brock to beat Rollins and then Rollins not immediately get his... I guess if he had it like on Raw. But it wasn't too long ago, like 2 months back, we thought it was going to be Roman Reigns versus Triple H, didn't we?
We thought it would have been last year had Roman Reigns not gotten that hernia.
And it could just as well, if he'd stayed in the main event, been Dean Ambrose Triple H. So pretty much any former Shield member versus Triple H is what we're looking at for SummerSlam. I wouldn't be against seeing a Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match. But it does make more sense to be for the title, I think.
Although you could see them just staring off in the ring and saying, "I want to know who the better man was," because we didn't get to see that at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go into our current entrance theme. It is an NXT theme. You may hear it on the main roster soon, wink, wink, wink. It's Becky Lynch.
Well, she's injured.
Damn it. Everybody's injured. And you're back with the Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. So what I was alluding to before we went to the song was the Divas division. Supposedly we're getting NXT people coming up and helping Paige.
Yeah, but every time you propose somebody, that person ends up getting hurt.
Yeah. Charlotte's not hurt yet, right?
Charlotte's not hurt yet, but I proposed Bayley, and Bayley broke her hand. And Becky Lynch has a hip issue.
It seems as though, at least the supposed insiders who know it all and stuff like that, were heavily tipping that it was going to happen. Then Bayley got injured, and then all of a sudden it didn't. So I'm not sure. Maybe the original plan was Charlotte Bayley, and then maybe the next plan was Charlotte Becky, and then Becky got injured.
Bayley made a lot of sense to me with Charlotte because they both are faces in NXT, and they both can work as faces as well.
Yeah.
So it made a lot of sense. Plus, I love Bayley, so Yeah, I wouldn't have at all minded seeing Bailey on the main roster. Um, the only person that can even remotely make sense would be Sasha Banks, and I don't believe she would be a good face.
No. There's just too many things that would have to happen, you know. She'd have to somehow pull off being a face. She'd possibly have to drop the title, I'd assume. And then if you send those two up, and then with Bailey and Becky out injured, you have very minimal Divas division.
Mm-hmm.
You got what? Emma, Dana Brooks, Carmella, and Alexa Bliss? Who, other than Carmella, are all heels. I think that's their roster without them. So, I don't know if it makes sense to push your only two top female draws up onto the main roster. But there needs to be some sort of payout with this whole Alicia Fox as a Bella twin and then the three of them hating Paige. What else did we have? Dean Ambrose, mid-card hell again. He's still like way over and still has all of the things to be a top guy, but it seems like they have nothing for him right now. So, he'll get to stay down there pretending to be the Joker in Ambrose Asylum. I wonder if he'll be broken on PC too. Cesaro, though. Talk about some guy who's definitely being utilized now. Those matches. Was it now 2 weeks on Raw in a row? Cesaro has put on top level matches with John Cena.
Yeah, Cesaro deserves a push, but at the same time, I don't want to see him win the United States Championship, because in my opinion, that would be a step backward for everything that Cena has tried to do for this title.
How do you mean? Cena's been doing a lot of open challenges. I think this is the first repeat challenger, possibly.
As far as I'm aware of, yes.
It seems to be that the Battleground match will stay Owens-Cena, with Owens no longer having the NXT title. And the outcome of that match has a lot to it. You could head into a triple threat at SummerSlam. You could have Owens take the title, Cena retain it and move on to a different feud. Cena, Cesaro at SummerSlam for the third time. There's a lot of different ways that match can go, and
actually, I think the only way it goes is Owens wins the title. Then it seems says Owens was the better man. He won't take his rematch clause, and they do Cesaro Owens at SummerSlam.
Really?
Yes.
I can see that happening, but I don't see it as the only one. I definitely see multiple options with that match. I'll probably be corrected.
I don't. Owens is winning the match is the only way I see the match coming out.
Well, we will see ourselves in, what's it now, 12 days? This airs on Friday, and then it'll be 4 days till there, then 11 days. In 11 days at Battleground. And then you're saying Cesaro Owens for SummerSlam? If that's anything like the matches that Cesaro has been putting on lately and Owens has been putting on lately, I will be happy to watch that match, and I'll be happy to be wrong. What else have we got here? You still being entertained by R-Truth?
R-Truth entertains me whenever he comes out. King, what's up?
With his like paper crown.
Yeah. His Burger King crown. But unfortunately, he got as far as he could get with this gimmick, at least.
Yeah. He was never going too far with it, but he was entertaining, and that's the thing you can say about R-Truth.
Yep.
What way do you see the Triple Threat Intercontinental match going? Because that one I see only one way.
Yeah, Ryback has to retain.
Yep.
And then please move on.
Why is that? Why do you want them to move on?
Because Ryback needs to face somebody else.
You mean you don't like Miz and Big Show?
It's just been a boring feud.
So who are you putting them against? Top of your head, pick an opponent.
You know what? Just for the kicks of it, I'd love to see Neville versus Ryback. I think that'd be an interesting match.
That is one strange pairing. I was not expecting that as your choice. Okay. If I had to guess, I was going to go Sheamus. Possibly. As long as it's not King Barrett. That's all I'm going to say. Just before we get to the end, we got like a minute and a half left. Only because it's a funny point, we have to talk about it. Titus O'Neil on commentary with JBL.
I definitely hope that after they're done with the primetime players run, that O'Neil gets some sort of push. 'Cause he's very entertaining.
I think you said like 2 years ago they were doing like a WWE shop promo, and Titus O'Neil put the World Heavyweight title on his shoulder, and you said that fitted. I think that was you.
Yeah. It did. It looked like it belonged there, but I'm still not entirely sure. But O'Neil, I think the only issue I have is his age is really going to work against him in a potential feud push.
Fair enough.
He's definitely not a spring chicken.
And on that note, it's been great talking to you.
Peace out.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, and I'll see you next week.